Oh gosh, you're really putting me on the spot here.
You feel a little bit nervous?
Women need to like follow their career like boss babe, yes queen.
That's like the expiration date on this relationship, probably. Submission.
Handcuffs and black leather and some whips and shit. That's like what we spend all our money on. Right? Yeah, he could sleep around and have lots of other girls, but
Ooh, the blonde one though. That blonde one though.
the sex has to be really good. Like every single day. Nonstop.
That's low-key maybe your biggest green flag.
You were the first guy that was like, bitch, no.
I'm about to kill this girl I'm hooking up with, this dog.
I was like, holy shit, I can't mess around with this guy. Women are, you know, their opinions and things like.
They don't matter?
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that.
All right, Julia de los Morenas,
Sounds so weird.
AKA my wife. So I typically start these off with like a dap, but women tend to be pretty bad at daps. Let's see your dap.
Damn, that was pretty good.
Not bad. You gotta like, you let it go and then you get one hard one. You're kind of like curling on me. Try one more time. Flat, now one hard one. There you go. That's not a bad dap.
Thanks.
Welcome to our own balcony here.
Thanks so much for having me. I feel
Welcome to the
honored.
podcast.
This is my first podcast ever.
You feel a little bit nervous?
I am. I'm worried like you're so not censored. You're just gonna be like yourself and hope that it comes out good.
Yeah, that's the thing about podcasts. I'm interested to see how this goes because you used to filming with me on our YouTube videos, but on those it's like 1 minute, 2 minutes maybe, where we have kind of like a focused topic we're talking about. Anything goes.
Now they're gonna get a ton of Julia.
And we're not allowed to be like, oh shoot, we gotta film that
Gotta
again.
redo
That
this.
doesn't happen here.
All right, I'm
All right?
ready.
So no, don't say anything too wild.
All right, I'll try not to.
So let's get started with a little drink. I've never seen Julia drink whiskey before, y'all.
Not only is this my first podcast, I've never had whiskey either.
Grab the glasses. Normally the guest pours, but I'm gonna go ahead and pour for us today. Let me see
Appreciate
yours
you.
there. I'm not gonna do you too dirty, but it's got to be enough to. Well, I did you a little dirty.
It's like, that seems like a lot.
It's got to be enough to sip on. I'm actually a bit worried because it's hot out here. It's hot out here, y'all, and I'm afraid I'm gonna be sipping on this just because I don't have like a Gatorade or an Aquarius or something to sip on.
You ready? You want to do cheers? A salute?
Salud. Salud. You're supposed to put it. They say, there's a saying in Spanish. El que no polla, no folla.
I don't know what that means.
The person who doesn't place it down before they drink it is not getting laid.
Oof. This is why I've never had it before. It doesn't taste very good.
It's an acquired taste.
Don't have that acquired taste yet.
With coffee, because you're a big coffee drinker. Did you like coffee from the first time you had it? Or was that also, for me, that was definitely acquired taste.
Yeah, no, I think it was, eight creams, 12 packs of sugar with caramel swirl to make it like really, I felt like I was just drinking milk with sugar, before. But now I can drink it black. I can drink it anyway. I love coffee.
So we just have to start having whiskeys every day. We can start putting some swirly stuff in there, some sugar and some cream. Work you up to some
Work
straight.
my way up.
We don't drink a lot though, huh?
No, we do not.
Have you ever been a big drinker?
This is already getting deep now. Back in college, I think I had my fair share of drinking. But then after, yeah, I think I got it all out in college.
Well, I think it's funny because earlier in our relationship, when we first were dating, there was definitely times where we'd go out, get drunk, and then like get into fights sometimes.
Yeah.
You remember those?
Yeah.
Those are back in the Boston.
Those
Maybe
Boston days.
not Austin. Those back in the Boston days.
Definitely Boston, not Austin. Yeah. No, I feel like I was 23 when I met you. So I was still like, fresh.
Oh, that's
fresh
true.
out of
You were
college.
23. I was 27. We were living in Boston. So yeah, that led to some nights out that I don't know. I think most couples. Do you think there's any couples that just like get really, really drunk together and it doesn't lead to some weird fighting?
No. I feel like every couple that we go out with that like drinks too much always gets in fights.
Alcohol's bad.
Yeah. Just don't drink, guys.
As we say that. Another little sip for us.
I'm just going to have to sip when you sip.
All right, is that how we're going to do it? Yeah. So you have an interesting perspective, I feel like, because you came up in this new generation of people, right? And when I met you, you had your own beliefs about how the world works from your own childhood and from schooling, because you also didn't just go to like preschool and grade school, then middle school, then high school, then college. You also did a graduate degree.
Yeah, I have my master's. Yep.
In therapy. Mm-hmm. And I think that could lead to like a certain way of thinking.
Of course.
And then since then, our life has changed a lot, right? Of course, we met in Boston. You met me, before the YouTube channel or any of the businesses really started.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've gone through like quite a big transformation. I think we've leveled up both a lot. But you've also been exposed to more of like this, I guess, red pill or like manosphere way of thinking, just through me and through a lot of the people I'm networked with and friends with. So I'm just curious, how has like your overall view on the world evolved?
Well, I feel like when you grow up in a bubble, you're kind of only exposed to what you know. And then, like you said, growing up in a very liberal area, not that New Hampshire is actually very Republican, but my family, and then going to school, it was a very liberal school, and then grad school, obviously going to school for therapy. I just kind of had one view of the world, and I kind of only listened to that view. But then when I met you, I felt like I moved to Texas, and I had a lot of hate. People were like, why are you moving to Texas? Like, you're like, all this, like, they were like really bad down there. And that was the first time I was like, what are you talking about? Like, it's just Texas, And then I started.
So it was moving. So were you hesitant? Because you didn't show that much hesitation to me to move down to Austin.
I didn't really look at it as like a negative. Like, oh my God, I'm moving to like this state that
I will say people from like, I think both of our moms both probably said this because they buy into the more liberal, mainstream liberal way of thinking. They're like, oh, at least it's like the blue star in the red state.
Yeah. I had a teacher. It was like, you're moving to Texas. Like, do you know what it's like down there? I was like, do you know what it's like down there? But like, that was the first time that I was kind of like, wow, there's like this polar opposite of like, and I wanted to know more about the other side. I think that's just the type of person I am too, is I'm very curious, and I want to be like, well, why do you think that way? And that's the same thing when like someone has like a lot of trauma and then they're like really mean, and it's like, okay, like I want to know why. And that's usually because there's trauma, right? So I think the same thing is like, if someone is extreme one way, I want to know why. I want to understand it. And so I think that helps me open up and understand like where people are coming from. And so like when you brought me into this kind of new world, there was a lot of things I was like, oh, I don't know. But then like when I started hearing more people talk about it, and I was like, wait, that actually kind of makes sense. And then my beliefs started to change, because what were my beliefs based on?
But what are some like specific beliefs that like what they were versus what they are now?
Ooh.
Also, give your mic a little more slack. Just pull the wire a little bit more, just so we don't get like, yeah, you're good. That should be straight.
All right. Well, I think, I was very liberal, and so I was very democratic, and I thought that was the right way of thinking. And now I feel like I wouldn't say I'm full-blown Republican, definitely not, but I believe in more of those beliefs now, especially with everything going on in the world. But I think that was the first kind of eye-opener thing for me, was just like politics.
So, like, give me a specific belief that's changed.
Oh gosh, you're really putting me on the spot here. Okay.
It's a podcast, baby.
I know. I'm just not prepared. Yeah, take a sip.
Take a sip. Take a sip. Take a think.
Well, I think I always thought like the more money we throw at things, the more control the government had, the better. Like how much more control the government has, like things are going to be better for people in poverty, or, people that are struggling. And then I realized that that's not necessarily true, like especially with everything going on with the pandemic. So for me, I just want less control, less government control.
Less government. Just like you have now a bit of a distrust for the government.
Exactly. And I think that, and I've also been on the other end where I've worked in places where government funded them and they were horrible. And
so you're a school therapist. So
yes.
before you quit her job to work with me, this is after we moved to Austin. You graduated, got the master's. You were working at a school in Austin.
Yes, and it was a Title I school, so it was failing. And it was just, kids were coming to school hungry. They had no food. They had no anything. And how was I supposed to do therapy on them when they were starving? And so, like, that was something that there was just all these programs in place put in by the government or by the state, and they just weren't working. And I realized, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's broken. Like, throwing more money at it isn't going to necessarily fix it. We need to fix the problems that are there.
Okay. Distrust for the government. I think that's one of the only positive things of the last few years in terms of like political and cultural development, is that I think a lot of people are becoming a bit more awake. Mm-hmm. You definitely, even myself, but I think you definitely, because you definitely had more of that mainstream mindset when I met you.
Well, it just starts to make you question things, right? Like, and I think that's good, is like, where is this information coming from? Like, where were all my beliefs coming from? And I love my parents. They're wonderful human beings, but where are they getting their information? CNN.
There's a belief in the older generation that my barber, Rafa, good dude, cut my hair yesterday, and the way he put it to me is like, he's like, the problem is I talked to my dad and he just says, no, the television said this, and like whatever the television said is taken as a fact, because it was the television that said it.
Exactly. And then like, well, have you like read studies on this or anything? And they can't. They have nothing to back it up. It's just like my mom always used to say, like, well, he just said it or they just said it. Who's they?
So how do you deal with your parents? Because I know you like, it seems like you always want to prove them wrong, which I've let go of in terms of most people in my life caring about proving people wrong. But you still have this need to want to like prove your parents wrong.
It's not that I want to prove them wrong. I think it's more for me. I want them to see what I see. I think I like to look at it this way. As I was in a bubble, I was in a boat. I was in a boat with my family, and everything they said I believed. I thought that I wanted to live right next to them, and I wanted to grow up in the way they wanted me to grow up. And then I think when I met you and we moved to Texas, that was the first time I got out of that boat. And
that's what allowed our relationship to like have legs, because when we first met you, this was like the line I think that was drawn in the sand was like, you were like, I want to live in a ranch style home.
No, not a ranch.
What?
A Victorian.
Okay.
Some
old ass home. Some old ass home with like a bunch of like land and potentially having animals on it. Sounds like a ranch to me, but
a farm
in New Hampshire.
Yes.
Near your parents.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm not living in a cold climate.
It's like a pipe dream,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost funny because I was going to Texas. I feel like we agreed, hey, we're going to go for a year, right?
Yeah. I think that's how you convinced me, right? You're like, we're just going to go for a year and you're going to test out, tell your parents that, and we'll tell them you're going to be back.
But that is in the back of my head. And we've talked about this, but in the back of my head, it was like, if she doesn't come around to not living in New Hampshire, that's like the expiration date on this relationship probably, because I just come up in Boston my whole life. I couldn't do it.
No, I know. So I think moving really, like I said, it was the first time I was outside that boat, and I realized like, holy shit, like there was a lot of stuff that I did not agree with. And I realized that I don't want to say like manipulated, because it's definitely, again, my parents are wonderful. It was just like, I was only looking at their beliefs and not my own beliefs and what I really cared about. And I realized this is what they cared about, not what I cared about. So moving really made me realize like how different I was from my family, who are all still in New Hampshire, living right next to each other. So,
and I love your family. I love your parents. I think
they're wonderful. They have amazing marriage. I aspire to have that. They're the most amazing people I ever met.
That's low key. Maybe your biggest green flag is that your parents have a really good marriage, and because of that, I know that that's something you've always wanted. Yeah,
I've never seen two people in love like them. Like they're so giddy about each other, and they've been married for so long. They're in their 60s and they're still so in love.
Well, speaking about relationship dynamics, because when I met you, you probably would have identified a little bit as a feminist at that point. Granted, this is 2016, 2017. Feminism might not mean the same thing then that it meant now.
Like I think I am still a feminist, but not what it is today. I care for equal rights for women. Like I care about women. I care about women having equal opportunity, which they do. So
is there still like what's the thing though? So, but you would still identify it even though like the goal is accomplished. You're saying the goal is accomplished. Women have equal rights.
I just care about women, and because I am a woman. I want women to feel like they have a seat at the table, and if they don't have a table, then they make their own table. And like I'm totally fine for that. I'm all about women like doing what they want, following their career. Now that being said, I also think in today's day and age, to have more of a traditional value has gotten lost. And I think women that want to just stay home and take care of the kids, that's totally fine, and that should be praised and normal. But now I feel like a lot of times people are looking at that's like, oh, that's so bad. Women need to like follow their career, like boss babe, yes, queen. And I don't believe in that. I think it should be, if that's what you want, great, but don't put it on everybody.
Okay. So you think like they should have the choice, but both choices should be praised and held at equal esteem.
100%.
Not like, oh, you're giving up your career for a man.
Exactly. Yeah. And also to like talk down about traditional values, because I think if someone wants that, there's nothing wrong with that. And like there's a lot of good with traditional values.
Yeah, I think our relationship's changed and evolved a little bit.
Yeah, when I met you, I was very much about my career. And then
you told me you wanted to have your own private practice as a therapist.
Yes. That's changed. Now I'm just like happy helping you. And then, when we do have kids, being able to stay home and raise them.
But how did that mindset change?
I mean, there's lots of things, right? Like I think we're very privileged, and I am super aware of that we, make a lot of money, that I can stay home and take care of the kids. And, in the relationships in the past, I was in, I don't think that would have been, an option. So me having my career was important just because I knew that would help be a stable, economic, environment for me and my spouse.
We'll talk a little about your past relationship. You don't have to go into detail because I know we want to respect everybody's privacy. But I think a lot of people do forget, like, there's so much of a focus in the red pill space on, like, what a relationship should look like with a high value man, right?
Yes.
Because, like, you're able to support your woman and things could look differently. But there is a reality out there for maybe most relationships that are a bit different. And I think your last relationship, maybe that's not the average relationship, but, like, how would you describe that dynamic?
He was not a leader. I was the leader. I wore the pants. I was the one that really took all the responsibilities, and it just fell into that kind of dynamic early on. And he was somebody that he was a very kind human being. I had nothing against him, but he just had no drive. He didn't really care if he didn't lead the relationship, and I felt like if I didn't do it, then we would be fucked. So I felt like I had to take on this role that I didn't necessarily want, and I think that's happens a lot of time with women. I'm not speaking for every woman, but I feel like that they get into these relationships where the guy is not a good leader, and then they feel like they have to, and then that's where this really tough independent woman comes from, because she's never been led properly.
Okay. Did you, in that moment, did you think that you liked leading the relationship when you were doing it? Like, was there some, like, inside your mind where you're like, oh, this is good, like, I'm enjoying this?
Well, I mean, yes and no. Yes, because I was like, oh, maybe like this can work. I don't know. You like pretend, or you like convince yourself that this is normal when it's in reality it wasn't normal, and that's why I ended up ending the relationship. But I feel like a lot of women think that that's the role they need to play, but I feel like you lose your femininity. You lose being like, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's just way too much responsibility in just trying to lead the relationship on top of working, on top of like having any sexual attraction. And I feel like we lost a little bit of that sexual attraction because I was the person that had to wear the pants.
Yeah.
And I lost that security, that safety, that all the things that I think girls really desire in a relationship I didn't have.
When did it start, like, your feminine side start coming back out? The whiskey's hitting me. It was 2 sips, bro. No, because I think at the beginning of our relationship, there was, and I also wasn't who I am today, right? But I do think from the beginning, I drew some boundaries and put you in your place, and you obviously liked it because
I never had it.
But like, again, you always listen to a woman's actions, not her words.
Oh, yes.
And like, you'd give it back to me, but obviously you liked it because we kept hanging out and things progressed.
Should we tell them the story about how it happened? So basically, David asked me out, and I completely ghosted, or I like flaked. I flaked. And
well, it was like on this Sunday we're gonna hang out, and then I think on Saturday, at least you gave me the favor one day.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, and there's a Patriots game the day we're gonna have the date, and those are pretty big in New England for you guys who don't know. Granted, she knew about that 3 days ago when she agreed to the date. She had some excuse about how she had to watch the game with her friends or something like that. And I don't remember the exact text I sent you. Do you?
I think you said, like, it's all good. Like, hit me up, like, if you ever want to, like, hang out. Like, you just, like, kind of ball in your court kind of thing. And I had been dating multiple guys, like, seeing multiple people, like, talking to multiple people. And I felt like it was the same old in dating. Is like guys just fighting for a girl's attention and then kind of simping for her. And, like, to me, it was just like, I was just assuming you were just gonna be like, it's okay, like, we can chat or talk, or, and then, like, you were the first guy that was like, bitch, no, like, putting me in my place. And I was like, holy shit, like, I can't mess around with this guy.
No, well, you still messed around a little bit.
I know.
In terms, well, no, my point is, like, you still put up like and you still do, right? I'm not gonna say up fronts, but like you like to like test me and challenge me, and I'm okay with that. That's our dynamic.
But I think I'm very stubborn, and I'm very outspoken, and I'm tough. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like that, like, that's not going to change, but since dating you, and we've been dating for almost 7 years,
mm-hmm.
I feel like I've relaxed into a more feminine role big time.
Yeah, I think it's been little by little. I think the whole time I've been okay, just like when you're being stubborn, just being like, fuck you, this is where I'm at. And then just like, and then I'll just kind of like give it space until you come around to being like, maybe you don't say like, all right, and give me credit, but you basically usually allow me to lead. But I remember the first time we met your mom, it was Kimmore Square. Eastern Standard. Is that the
Yes.
name of the restaurant?
Yep. Oh my gosh.
Down in Boston. We met your mom. I don't remember what you did. You did something, and I put you in your place like kind of hard in front of your mom, not meaning to. And I remember I could tell by the look on her face, and she said something like, "Wow, I really like how you put my daughter in her place." It wasn't like that, but it happened in a way that was somewhat respectful. But that made me, I think, realize that your parents were used to the previous relationship you had. But your mom immediately said, "This is like this." When you left, she's like, "Ah, that's good for Julie. I think that's what she needs. She's had so much pressure on her in the past relationship."
Yeah, it was just like I felt he was just very soft and like not masculine, and that was really hard to be in a relationship with someone like that, because then you're feeling like you have to be the masculine one and the feminine one, and that's a really hard thing to juggle, and I think a lot of girls struggle with that.
Yeah. So how come you think it? Because people could say that girls are attracted to assholes, and I think all this ties in together. Is my point.
Yes.
Because I think when I'm calm, when I'm grounded, which I try to be more and more, right? I work on that a lot. But when I'm in those moments, and sometimes that involves maybe putting you in your place more.
Yes.
I do feel like, and that's not just with you, but in past things I've seen, that gets the woman like turned on sexually.
Well, I think the assholes, there's two parts to that. The first part is what we're talking about is I feel like it's a little bit of showing this masculinity and this like when someone's an asshole, they're kind of putting you in their place. Now, it might not be the nicest way to do it or the most respectful, but like they're doing it. And I feel like that's why girls are attracted to that because, like I said, they're probably used to not having any of that. And on the flip side of that, a lot of girls get in really abusive relationships early on and they start dating guys that are pretty toxic, and then they're used to dating assholes, or they become attracted to that because that's all they know. They don't know what they either know, like the simp, or they know the asshole. They don't really know the person in the middle. And I think the person in the middle is the high value man. And I think they're just hard to come by. So I think that's why girls like assholes.
Yeah, I think a term I like better than high value man now is 1% man, because me and you have talked about this, right? When you're talking about like a high value guy, 1% guy, usually it's a combination of like he's worked on his confidence, let's say, and socially. He's worked on his money, whether that's his own business, his own career. There's been some development there. Usually he's worked on his fitness. He also has like emotional control. He's not reactive when a girl challenges him or some dude talks shit to him. And it's like pretty easy to define that thing. How do you define a 1% woman though?
Oh, good question. I think a girl that can regulate her emotions. I think that's really hard for a lot of girls. I know I struggle with it. Sometimes you go from like 0 to 100, just like that. But someone that can regulate their emotions, someone that I think I feel like I want to get shit for this, but I feel like you have to know that you're with somebody that could leave you. Like you need to know where your place is, and like that if this guy is a high value guy, he has options. And when you know that he has options, like you're not going to just toy around or screw up or do things to test him, because like you need to be secure in that relationship, but you also need to know that he could leave and date somebody else and then you have nothing.
So you think what makes a top tier woman is partly understanding like how relationships actually work?
Yes. And I think a lot of time, and again, but now this isn't every person's relationship dynamic. Like if a girl wants to be boss babe and she wants to have her own career, I don't know what that looks like, but there are some guys that are into that and want that.
So do you think it seems like it's harder to define what 1% woman is? With a 1% man, we can pretty much lay down a set of criteria we agree on. With a woman, you're kind of like, well, it depends if she wants to be traditional or not.
This is the thing. I think that there is two different types. I feel like if you want this girl that like is really career oriented, makes a ton of money, and she's killing it in her career, like that, but she also can provide, the sex and all that stuff. I think that she could be looked at as a top % woman. But then also a woman that knows her place in a relationship, that can keep a household, that wants to raise kids, that is supportive and loyal and brings things to the table other than money. I think that's a 1% woman. So that's
the woman that men want. At least men who have their shit together, that's the woman that they want. The other 1% woman, the woman, let's say the career woman who's super driven and she achieves a lot, she makes a lot of money. I think that the issue, the hypocrisy a lot of people would call out would say a lot of girls think they want that because that's what they've been told through school, liberal education, Hollywood. But I think that there's a reality of a lot of women who follow that path and then they get in their 30s Your eyes are watering a little bit too. Is that the whiskey?
I don't know, or it's really hot, but keep going. Sorry.
They follow this path basically, right? And then they're in their 30s, and maybe they've outpriced themselves out of the dating market a little bit because they want a guy who was more successful and more powerful than them, which is going to be
Much
hard to
harder.
find the more and more wealthy and powerful they are. And then they end up in their 30s, and they realize that they have sacrificed even the possibility of having a family.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can't argue with that. But I do think that some women prefer to have.
Have you met a woman who's taken this path and you think is truly happy?
Yes. And she's getting married.
How old is she?
28.
She's
My
made
age.
that much money at 28?
Yeah, she's a big time lawyer.
And the guy she's married, do I know who this is?
Yeah.
You don't want to say their name?
No.
And the guy, just tell me and I'll edit this part out. And the guy she's dating is even more successful than her?
No, I don't. I don't know. I know he has a good job, but I think he's totally okay with her being the breadwinner, and he's okay with maybe staying home and taking care of the kids, or they have a relationship that works for them. And from day one, she's been the person that makes all the money.
So I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah.
We don't know them that well, and unlike you know her very well. We don't know them that well as a couple, but it's true. She does make more than him, I think.
Mm-hmm.
She has taken the path of being a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. A really, really prestigious lawyer.
They seem more happy than most couples we know, but I do think that he's a bit lazier side and maybe a bit more feminine energy than most guys, and perhaps that's why it works out because he's okay with that.
Yeah, but it works for them, so I can't. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll check in. We'll give you guys an update in like 3-4 years. So with your unique perspective, what is your advice for women in 2023? Because we both give a lot of advice to men.
Yes. I think that you need to decide what you want, what kind of relationship you want, what you're looking for. I don't think that you can sit here and be like, I want to have my own career and I want to make all this money and I need to find a guy that's going to like that or whatever. Like, if that's what you want, like, there's a certain type of guy that you're going to attract and you need to be okay with that. But if you want this guy, we were kind of talking about this 1%. I know you don't like high value,
but what girls don't want that? What girl would say that she doesn't want a guy who's, let's say the basic list, right? Like makes 6 figures, is at least around 6 foot tall. He's somewhat in shape.
Someone that doesn't want to give up their career.
But the people who don't want to give up their career, they still want that guy.
I know, but that's what my advice is. Like, you have to know that, like, you might not get that guy because you're taking this, wanting this career. And don't get me wrong, maybe there are guys out there. You can't speak for everyone. I can't speak for everyone. But I don't know if he's going to be that 1% guy. Now, if you're a girl that's like, look, like, I just want to attract a 1% guy. Like, I don't really care about my career or whatnot. Well, then you need to know what you bring to the table, and you need to be different than any other girl he could be. You know, you need to be extremely supportive. And I think that was a role I took on. I quit my job and I was like, let's go, let's do this, you know, and how you can support maybe, you know, how it's really like, how can you make the guy's life better when he comes home? And I know that sounds like super like old school, like, oh, you got to make him a meal and stay in the kitchen. No, but like, he's worked hard all day. He's bringing the money into the relationship. Like, what are you bringing to help him and support him and make his day better?
So you're hinting at this idea that like a woman should understand that if that's the type of guy she wants, she also has to understand the reality that with that type of guy, she's somewhat replaceable because there's so few men like this that they command a great deal of demand in the dating market, right? Like, because there's very few guys who check off all these boxes.
But that also, you know, this is me being, you know, the girl. You want to make sure he treats you right and he takes care of you and he supports you, and what that looks like emotionally, you know, physically.
Well, that's another part of being 1% man, I think, is also understanding that the relationship with a woman is taking on the role of the leader and really like making it a priority to make sure that she feels safe and protected. And loved. And so if that is taken care of, then like, why wouldn't we say women need to do the same thing? How does a girl make herself irreplaceable? Something that you did that's not easily like copy and pasteable, because this always comes up whenever I'm on podcasts with other guys. So because I chose to get married, right? And I always get challenged on this because in this space, people are like, why? If a guy had the ability to still sleep around, like he would always take that, right? Mm-hmm. Something that you did that made you irreplaceable that you didn't have control over was the time you met me. You met me when I was in my like grinding phase, but before things started to materialize. And at that time, I was dating. I mean, I was going through like my whole phase as a man. I was dating a lot of girls, but most girls, even if I had maybe like the looks and the confidence to like attract them, I could tell a lot of girls who were maybe slightly top tier and had more options. They were like, but I don't really get what this guy does. So I'm probably going to just go with like the doctor, the lawyer instead.
Yeah.
I mean, you committed to me though. You not only
Yes.
committed to me, you helped me film videos approaching girls in Boston before there was 10,000 subscribers on the channel, right?
Yes, yeah.
You left your ego completely at the door. You saw the vision.
Yes.
As soon as there was a need for employees, you were the first. You quit your job and were the first
Yes.
employee.
Again, like you said, like that's really hard to have girls relate to that because it's so unique and it's so special. And if I met you now, it would be really hard. I think it's hard for a guy to want to commit to one girl, but I think the sex has to be really good. I like that's hands down like number one thing. And then also,
You're saying the girl needs to make sure the sex is really good?
Yes.
How does a girl make sure the sex is really good?
She needs to know what the guy likes. She needs to initiate it. She needs to just be open to it, even if she doesn't like feel like it. You know, it's more like making the effort. And then also like being that emotional support for him, because a lot of times if a 1% man is grinding really hard, he has a lot of things going on in his brain and he needs an outlet. And if she can be that soundboard and she can be that person for him, you know, it's very different. Yeah, he could sleep around and have lots of other girls, but if he can have that soundboard with that one girl, he's going to feel like he needs her. And there's some part of that, like that's comforting. And also if he wants to make a lot of money, it's, you know, having that one girl. I think Brandon Carter said it. That
one of the Brandons,
yeah,
one of those influencer Brandons.
Brandon Carter said it. It's just like it's easier to have that one chick because you're just gonna grind out and make more money.
Yeah, I think now taking a step back, maybe what girls need to do if this is the path they want to go, and they want to get that type of guy. Perhaps some of it comes to like being able to recognize guys with the potential who are on that path. Right? Because then if
100%.
they can meet them at that earlier stage, and then they can be the one who supports him and helps him on the way up. And the same thing for guys. I think is when if you've gone through that hoe phase a little bit, you got some bodies under your belt, I think, like, but you're really focused on the grind now. You're really trying to lock in. It's not a bad time to be like, you know, looking at the girls through that lens as well. We know which of these girls is like really, you know, making the effort to help me on this path.
No, 100%.
Submission. Submit. Let's talk about submission.
Look, I think that's like such an ugly word, and I think that's why girls cringe when they hear it. Like I picture like some really aggressive handcuffs and black leather and some whips and shit. Like
the ones we got here.
Yeah, like have you guys seen her closet? No, just kidding. No, but like I think that's why girls have like such a negative, like that word is so cringe, but I think it's not necessarily a bad thing for a girl to submit, because for a girl to be able to submit allows the man to lead. But if she's never submitting and she's always fighting him, then he's not going to be a good leader. And then she's going to always feel extremely anxious in that relationship.
So you think women should submit to men?
Yes. Yeah.
If they go down that path.
I hate that word, but yes. And I already see the comments, like all these girls.
Have you gotten hate from girls in your comments?
Yeah. I posted a video the other day on my reels, and I got like a lot of hate from girls. But I just like wish they could.
What were you saying in the reel?
I said that guys should never send a good morning text. I just think it's very simpy. Texting should only be to set up dates. Early on.
I've trained her well.
It's early on. It's not.
She's a disciple of the beast ideology.
No, it makes sense, right?
Yeah,
like it works. I've seen it work, and I want to help these guys out. So, but no, girls I think they were thinking like,
why do girls think they want simps who send them good morning texts
I don't know,
before the girls slept with them?
You're just friend zoning this man. But I think I don't know. I can't speak for every girl, but I think the idea of it is nice because Hollywood makes it seem nice, but then in reality, they don't actually want it.
Here's the thing. Women, this comes up a lot in our coaching calls, right? And Julie is actually one of because of her therapy background, she's one of the mentors, the coaches in our coaching program for men.
Yes.
She gives them that female perspective, but also that therapy background. But something that I see with a lot of these guys is like the women that they end up like trying to date. At the beginning, girls are always like jockeying or like are competing to be like the leadership one, right? You try and set up a date with a girl and she does maybe what you do. Like today's not going to work.
The shit test. Yeah.
Or like a guy I was talking to 2 nights ago, or last night on my call, he was like, oh, I asked her to come over to my place to hang out. And she was like, how about we meet in the spot that's exactly in the middle of where we are? And it's like, she's fighting the lead. She like wants to be in the lead.
Well,
but then what happens
it's not, I don't know, but I don't think it's fighting the lead. I think she wants to see if you're going to be a leader. Because if not, there's two things that, and I talked about this before. There's two things that happen. Number one is if she's going to see what she can get away with. And like, it's subconscious, right? I don't think she actually thinks, oh, okay, this guy's a bad leader. Like, I'm going to fuck with him. But you do. You start being like, well, what can I get away with? How can I have this man wrapped around my finger, even though she doesn't actually want him for a long period of time? But
so it's not that she wants to be the leader. It's that she wants to like make the man submit to her. You're not going to like it. It's not to make the man submit to her. She wants to like make the man show extra that he's making an extra effort just for her.
And then she gets that validation from it. Like, I'm amazing because I have all these men wrap around my finger, blah, 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 blah. But if a guy, if he puts her in her place right then and there, she's going to be like, okay, this guy has options. This guy is not messing around. It's either I need to get my shit together or he's going to get out.
Yeah, so I keep telling these dudes, like, you can, because I did this before, right? You can be the leader of the relationship, and that might require you saying, you know, hey, come over this week. Let's make some dinner. You know, you pick out a bottle of wine. You bring that. I'll pick up the groceries. And then if she says, no, let's meet at the beach instead or go for a walk instead, you have to, like, at that point, you have to, like, enforce. You have to enforce to be like, no, let's stick with my plan. It's kind of a busy week for me.
Yep. And if she's not down for it, A, her fucking loss, and B, this isn't a girl you want to be in a relationship with because she wants to lead the relationship.
But here's what happens. If a guy leads the relationship, I think things can go well. Obviously, it's got to be the right guy. But generally, things can go well. He can also craft it into what he wants it to be. And it's not that women should have no say or no power or just be the doormat in the relationship. But when you let women lead the relationship,
leads to the friend zone.
They either lead you into the friend zone, or if you guys like are hooking up and it's sexual, I feel like they tend to lead it into like a not good space.
Yeah. I don't think women are the best leaders in relationships.
Okay, with your previous relationship's a great example. You're really physically attracted to the guy, at least at first. He had, I know what you told me about him. There was definitely some positive qualities to him. But you were the leader in that relationship, and where did that end? Eventually, it led you to leading yourself out the door.
No, for sure. I think women aren't good leaders because they're more emotional, and men are more logical. And I think that really plays a role in like leading.
You're pretty emotional.
I think I'm less emotional than most girls. I think I'm pretty low on the neuroticism.
So when we get into fights, and it's not all every masculine feminine relationship's not this way, but I would say you'll say I shut down sometimes. That's when you're mad at me. Like, you shut down. But I tend to take the stoic path and be like, I'm just gonna stay calm. I've said
sometimes.
I have to say what I once in a while I'll explode. But that's like once a year maybe I'll explode.
Let's be honest.
You need more than once a year?
No.
It's pretty rare.
Yeah.
I don't get mad
but at least we're calling it out.
Yeah, I don't get really mad at anyone ever. So maybe you once a year. But but typically I like say what I have to say, and if you're not hearing it, then I just remove myself until you calm down. Because otherwise, and I think this happens with a lot of guys, otherwise it turns into a losing battle where it's either a screaming match or you're trying to, or I'm trying to logically like prove that you were wrong, but then you're just like, no, but you said this one thing, and that one thing wasn't 1000% right. So technically you lied, even though it was just like.
That's what I mean. You're going down this path that like it doesn't. You're not.
You can't even let the woman lead the argument. Or she leads it into some weird like, yeah, but you said this 3.5 years ago, and then last night you said this other thing.
Yeah, but I truly believe that like women are, you know, their opinions and things like
they don't matter.
No, they no. I'm kidding. They come through in different ways. Like I think you really listen to me when you're soundboarding, and I like give you an idea, and then you kind of like go with it. So I think that like it's not that women don't bring any value, or they're not like. Men don't listen and it's all there, you know, they bring it in different ways. They're like the quiet, and they like say things in a way that men start to hear it through that way. Like I think you're very open when I have an opinion on something, that you're willing to listen to it and be like, okay, like where are you coming from with that? And I think that's really healthy. The
mistake that I've made in the past, because again, women and people in general want to feel like they have some level of power and control. The mistake I've made in the past is sometimes I'll tell you like, you can tell me whatever you want, but this is what I'm doing. I think it's a lot more effective, guys, to even if your mind's made up about something, to just be, all right, I'll hear you out. Tell me everything you got to say. And then be like, okay, like I hear you, you know, in this situation, this is what I'm going to do, but at least hear you first.
Yeah. And it's okay for the girl to be like, yeah, I just like really don't agree with that. And like be able to put your foot down on things. And now I'm not saying everything because then the guy's not leading. But if there's something that really bothers you or like there's something that's just like as a cross the line for you, you're allowed to say something.
What do you think starts most of our fights?
I think you have some like weird tendencies.
Okay, do me dirty. What's my weird tendency?
Well, he's always late, guys. And it's like hurts me in my core because I am.
We fight about the same, like, not even two things, probably the same one thing we fight about.
Time, like timing.
But when it comes to creating content, like today we filmed a YouTube video and
you're like, yeah, we're gonna be ready and be done by this time.
But
and it's like 3 hours late.
But YouTube filming days, babe. It's a day of patience. It's a day where I'm probably gonna say we're gonna do numbers 1 through 12, and we're gonna get numbers 1 through 7 done.
My brain works though, but like we need to get through 1 through 12. Like, how can I make this work?
But
right?
then we're not gonna enjoy 1 through 11.
I have like this mindset of like we need to like I'm so organized. Like I'm like, okay, how can we get there? We gotta do this. And like you're like, no, let's just like go with it. And I'm so not that way. So I'm very type A.
That's how I've been. But it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's a good thing because I can get lost. And I think that's my secret power. I can get lost in my tasks, but it's a bad thing because I'm late to everything I've been late to everything my whole life.
Other than the wedding, thank God.
Usually it's like 5 minutes though, 10 minutes late. It's not like I'm just not showing up. But I think a secret thing here, not a secret thing, we compliment each other. We compliment each other. We fit in. I think if you're someone who is super, super late all the time, it might feel good to date someone else who's like super, super late all the time. But we might have missed some important things in the past if I didn't have you also give me the 30-minute, 15-minute, 10-minute. All right, we're already 5 minutes late. We're 10 minutes late now. We're 15 minutes late reminder. Even when we get massages, we show up late. Last night,
oh my God.
Last night they almost canceled. We were outside. They were sending us WhatsApp messages. Sorry, it's too late. And we were 5 minutes, 10 minutes late.
Oh my God. See, that gives me such bad anxiety. I hate that.
We still got that massage though.
I know. I'm working on it.
Were you a massage person before me?
Like, yeah, because of sports growing up. Like going and getting sports massages.
I wasn't a massage person before you, I don't think. We go, how many times per week do you think we go? I mean, I've had them. I've had a few different types of massages in my day, but why do we like massages so much? Guys, we go twice a week, I'd say, on average for massages.
It's like so crazy. That's like what we spend all our money on. I think it's like a really relaxing, and you don't give good, you do give good massages to me, but like you don't like giving them.
But you don't give good massages.
No, because you're too muscular. Like my nails and everything, just like it's hard.
The nails aren't ideal.
Yeah. But I think it helps us relax. And like
we work hard, play hard. Work hard, get massaged hard. So you've definitely developed a thick skin towards comments. Or I hope you have.
Thick skin.
Good song by the Baby. He says thick skin 332 times in that song.
I think that's all he says.
I think the whole lyrics are thick skin. I actually was kind of vibing out with it. I was playing it in the car one time, and Julie's like, what in the fuck are we listening to?
What kind of thick skin?
He's like, my mama always said I had thick skin. I don't know if you always had thick skin, but it seems like you got thick skin now. So I want to read you, just before this, I took like 30 seconds and screenshotted 7 comments.
I might need some more whiskey.
Because you get a lot of hate on my videos.
I do.
You get more hate than I get. I don't know. Yeah. I think we can talk about why after. Anyway, I just want you to reply to each of these comments one by one, okay? Yes. It might be only 5.
Okay.
Wonder how much this girl gets paid to act so interested in this guy.
I don't get paid enough. No, I mean... it's actually a compliment, I guess, if he thinks like I'm acting to like be with you. Like it's like I don't know.
I think the idea is like I don't even know what that one the idea is. I don't know what the idea is. That like I don't know. That you're faking it to I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. Next.
The girl in video. A lot of these don't have great grammar. The girl in video. It isn't absolutely wife material.
How come?
He didn't say put a laughing face.
Oh. Well, I mean, he needs to work on his grammar first before he finds a wife, so...
How does that make you feel? You're not wife material.
I mean, I am wife material. I have a hubby. So, no, I mean, these things don't bother me. Like, it's just some butthurt dude. Like, but then again, this goes back to my therapy background being like, who hurt you? Like, what happened to you? So I want to know. Like, maybe he had a bad upbringing and he's just sad and doesn't have a lot of love, you know?
Is that his girlfriend, question mark?
Nope.
Laughing face?
Wife.
Poor guy.
Oh, poor guy.
Feeling bad for me because I'm dating you or married to you. it's
It's just almost comical. I mean, these don't bother me?
His wife is beautiful. Keep winning, bro. Oh, I took a screenshot of that one by accident. The positive ones are there though. I guess we can take the positive from that.
I was like, where is this turning? How is this turning bad?
A wifey material ain't 50% plastic.
Okay.
This is a common one these days. Men hating on women with any type of cosmetic work done.
I sometimes I take it as a compliment when they're like, "Oh, your face looks frozen." I was like, "Thanks." Like I feel like it doesn't. Like I have a lot of wrinkles and smile lines and stuff like that. So sometimes I'm like, "Oh, they must think I have really good skin." But I do have my lips done and I have gotten Botox and I'm super open about it. But I don't think that makes me plastic.
How come you think it bothers guys so much that girls get work done? I'll tell you why. I think.
Well, I think I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think they can get with a girl that looks good. And I also think that like guys if they're like, something is wrong with them and they want to fix it, they don't feel like they can go and get work done. That like girls, it's like a cop out. Like I've heard guys say that
That's
before.
True. Girls can just get a bunch of plastic surgery.
I mean, guys can too. It's just more taboo.
Guys don't. Yeah, girls can go get a bunch of plastic surgery, and as long as they like didn't start out like hideous, they can be pretty hot.
Yeah, and like,
guys,
I think guys
yeah,
feel
you
unfair.
can take steroids, but like some guys take steroids and still don't look that good.
Yeah,
and, like you still have to put some level of work in.
Of course.
So maybe I think it's that, but also I think it is guys. Like most hot girls in this day and age have some work done. That's the world we live in. That's what they're used to seeing on social media. And let's be honest, most Hollywood actors and actresses, they get work done.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's also a form of them like trying to tell themselves a story where I don't find this attractive, but really it's because I can't even get a girl like that. So that way, like the ugly bitches I'm dating, that's better than this. That's like a way to like rationalize, I think.
Yeah.
He just uses the girl for views and clicks. He knows she's not wifey material.
I mean, I wish they like elaborated why they don't think I'm wifey material, but I don't know.
And then there's another one of these. Says the man with the girlfriend who's 70% plastic.
Yeah, it's like a lot of plastic comments.
That's like the new go-to hate comment. But yeah, no, at the end of the day, nothing. At the beginning, it bothered me, and I'll be mad, and I won't be mad. I'll be honest. Sometimes a hate comment will bother me but it's not gonna be like about you or my body, because those are just like the most obvious insecure ones that like. It's a dude in a really, really tough spot, right? And maybe some of y'all are watching this video right now, right? You're in a really tough spot if you watch a video and you compulsively watch my videos, because usually I see the same damn icons over and over.
It's like Nick 22 loves his mom. Or
Yeah. There's a song lyric. It's like, they keep on hating, we call them fans, though. I think Tate said a similar thing to like, I mean, if someone's like watching all my shit and they're hating all the time, technically they're still a fan. They're still giving me views and comments. They're still helping the algorithm.
Yeah.
But I think if someone's doing that, they have to be in a really rough spot, because you have to put yourself in the mindset.
Of course.
Like what would cause you to have to really try and be mean to someone, or to even more so mean to someone's wife or their girlfriend. It's like you have to really be hurting yourself.
But it's funny, like they feel so strong and like you
in
know
that moment,
mean and behind the computer, you know. But like, would you ever say that to my face? Would you ever say any
Well, I
of this
wonder,
in real
do you
life?
think, because how many, since we've been dating, I mean, probably the first time I ever got recognized was while we were dating.
Yeah.
And I'd say, I don't know, over the last 5 years, 1,000+ times, it happens more and more often now, which, by the way, if you guys ever see me in public, please say hi.
Or me.
Yeah, that's never happened, I don't think. Maybe once.
I've had it happen like 4 times. Wow.
No, I think maybe that was mean. But
That was me.
But maybe, I don't know, they're more invested in me, or they feel more normal approaching me. We usually were together too, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times we're together. How many of those guys do you think have left hate comment?
That have said something to you?
Yeah, who come up and be like, "Oh, I love watching your videos, bro."
I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, you have millions, 1.5, 1.6 million people that follow you, and 1,000 people have come up to you. I don't think those are the people even hate. Because I just, they seem so genuine when they come up to you. Like I've seen guys cry when you changed my life, man. Like, oh God, it makes me cry. Like they're just so genuine and like how you've changed their life, that I don't think those are the people leaving hate. I really, truly don't think so.
No, I'd agree statistically, because even if every video gets, I don't know, 50 to 500K views, and even if there's 50, and there's not on each video, but even if there was 50, usually the bad comments are actually on the shorts, because people don't have to be subscribed and they just get fed to them. And I think also younger, more immature dudes probably spend more time watching shorts than actual videos. But yeah, on a percentage basis, it's almost nobody who's leaving those comments, just to make us both feel better about ourselves. So I feel like people are probably interested in what our life's actually like on a day-to-day basis, the things we talk about, I would say, what do you think the number one topic we talk about is?
I don't know, but I think we're very, very, very honest. Like we explore every avenue of like, well, what if this happened, or what if, like me and you have like I know.
Give me an example.
I mean, we talk about like other women and like what that would look like if you were with other women. We talk about like, I don't know, like we see a hot girl, like we always both comment, more me. I'm like, oh, she's really hot.
What's
Did you
the
see
thing?
her ass? Like
Girls, at least hot girls, it's funny because like at the gym yesterday, last week, right? There was like two really, really,
yeah.
really
And I was like,
attractive women.
David, did you see those girls over there?
The problem was when she told me, I kept like, I think the blonde, the brunette one looks a little bit older. The blonde one, ooh,
Yeah.
the blonde one though. That blonde one though.
I know.
Because we were talking about how
She
like
was
in
so
person you don't
hot.
see like that many top tier girls.
No.
And she was.
So we talk.
But-
I feel like we talk a lot about that kind of stuff.
Bad hot girls.
Hot girls. No, but like I think we explore every. I don't know. We talk about everything.
We spend a lot of time together. That's the thing. I don't think people realize that we spend a lot lot of time together.
Like every single day, nonstop.
And that's one reason we're very excited for the house, right? Because we're living in an apartment now. It's a 2-bed. It's really a 1-bed because it
What are you
came
trying to say?
it came furnished, and the second bedroom is just a bed. I use the closet in there. I mean, but
Where are you going with this?
I'm saying that we're basically in the same room always. So we're very excited for
we
the
also
house.
lived in
so
like
that
a 400 square foot apartment in Boston together.
what do you miss the most about living in Boston in the 400 square apartment?
That clawfoot tub.
You miss that?
No, I'm just kidding. God, I don't know if there's anything I miss. Maybe like being so close to Fenway and being able to like walk down. But the apartment itself was shit.
I
Like, we had
miss
bugs, dude. We had like cockroaches and the old heaters that would get too hot. Just
I miss the Fenway neighborhood
yeah.
because we were within a 5-minute walk to Target, the gym, probably 30 restaurants, some like takeout. There's like really good steak and cheese place around the corner, good Thai place. Burrito place was good, but then we had a bad. Remember, I think it was with the homie Dave.
Yeah.
He brought some random ass girl.
Some girl he was like sleeping with. He's like, hey, do you mind if I bring her? We're like, no, and then he brought her.
This is something about Dave, man, and he'll be on the show eventually. He's my best friend, but he just is so extroverted socially that he just assumes everyone wants to hang out with everyone every minute of the day.
Like, absolutely not.
So me and Julia, like, we were like really tired. Like, we were hungover. It was like Dave's last day before he bounced to wherever, Mexico, Colombia, wherever he was living at the time.
Yeah.
Brought this girl who was like a doctor, right?
Yep.
Who he had slept with the last night.
She was actually really nice, but it was
to
just
the
like
burrito
super
at the burrito
awkward.
restaurant.
Yeah.
All I remember was that was the last time I ate there. But it was like the
Yeah.
chicken was
No, I
bad
know.
or something.
You know what one of my favorite memories of you was?
In Boston?
Yeah. So guys, right when we first started dating, now David has become an amazing dog dad. But when I met him, he was not a dog person. I don't even think he knew anything about dogs, but I had Bo at the time, brother man. And I remember I had to go to class, and I was like, hey, do you mind taking him out? And I texted him. I was like, hey, do you mind taking Bo out for me?
Oh, man.
And he texted me back. He goes, like on a leash? Like, oh my God. I'm so worried about this man with my dog.
Let me tell the story.
Yeah, no,
It's also Boston winter. So A, you get like 2 hours of sunlight. B, it's like basically feels like it's below freezing the whole day. And I was walking from your apartment to mine, which is 10-minute walk,
Yeah.
12-minute walk,
10 minute,
maybe.
yeah.
You got to cross a lot of busy streets to get
Yes.
there. And there's this one street, right, where it's 2 lanes on both sides. It's maybe 3 lanes on both sides. It's always very busy. And you got to cross across. There's no crosswalk around there. Maybe if you walk all the way down to the light. This is Boston.
But you didn't do
jaywalk
it.
in Boston. In Boston, you don't follow the traffic signs. You just go in the direction you're going, and you keep going until you're there. And in between, there's this mini little divider. So you got to like wait. You got to like wait to see if the perfect opportunity, right? And then cross the 3 lanes and cross the next 3 lanes. So I see it. I got Bo with me. And he's like kind of afraid of me still.
yeah.
He's
He didn't like you
timid.
at the beginning.
But he would walk with me because he's more afraid of other people, like the other strangers than
Yeah.
me, right? So we walk across the first 3, and then I'm halfway across the other 3, and there's all these cars coming. Then I'm yanking, and I turned around. He's in this like 4-inch divider. He stopped and was taking a poop.
Yeah, but this just shows you're not a dog
the middle of
person.
concrete.
Because you didn't take him to go to the bathroom before you left.
So then I run back to the thing. I have the leash so tight because I'm afraid if he goes in any inch the other one way or the other, he's about to get hit. I'm about to kill this girl I'm hooking up with, this dog. This is why I don't do dogs, or I didn't do dogs. He pooped. I didn't have like a bag or anything, so I
You're
got
just like that asshole that left that poop.
in the middle of the divider, and I walked home, and I never got that anxious afterwards. But that was not a good one.
No. No, you were so funny with him.
I used to bring a treat every time.
I
No,
know.
I used to come over your place every time before we hooked
You
up.
wouldn't bring a treat.
I used to come over your place every time. This is one of the things where it was in the early stages. And I was trying to get him to like me, though, because it was annoying that he still didn't like me after a couple weeks.
Well, he's abused.
So I'd have to go down. He wouldn't even, if I made eye contact, he wouldn't get close to me. So I'd have to like kneel down. If he was over there, look over this way, like hold the treat. Is he coming? Is he coming to get it? And probably after 3 months, he warmed up to me. I remember I had this brand new Lululemon backpack.
Oh.
Green backpack. People remember the really old first ever Boston videos. I used to wear this green backpack. And I think I was watching Bo. You were at class or something, and I left to go to the gym and then come back, and he chewed up the whole backpack. All the different zippers got chewed up.
He was a really good dog.
And he chewed up your Beats headphones. And we were both broke at the time.
I know.
So he chewed up my like $200 Lulu backpack, your $200 Beats, and I was like,
so
this
angry.
fucking guy.
But that was the only thing he ever chewed after that, and he was a great man. He's such a good man. Come on, you love him so much. He's like the best dog. He doesn't do anything wrong. He's just like perfect. Like if we didn't take him out for like 3 days, he wouldn't go to the bathroom in the house.
I call him the autonomous brother man because the brother man's his nickname, and he's autonomous, meaning that if he had a way, no, autonomous, like that's that means like a self-driving car. They are autonomous. If Bo had a way, if he had opposable thumbs, right? Because dogs don't have opposable thumbs, so they can't do a lot of shit. If he
Was
had
that why?
Yeah, yeah. If he had opposable, at least most dogs.
Yep.
No, at least not. It's like Bo. If he had opposable thumbs, he could go up, unlock the door, let himself out, go to the bathroom whenever he needed to. Yeah, go get some food, swing by the grocery store, come home.
Cook himself a meal.
He'd sleep. He'd be fine. He'd survive.
Yep.
If the apocalypse was tomorrow and we died and he got out into the wilderness, he'd live probably just as long as he's going to live with
Yep.
us.
Agreed.
And then we have Rolo. He's a golden doodle.
Absolutely not.
And Rolo would be dead within 10 minutes,
Yeah.
probably. He'd jump off this balcony. If I fake threw a ball off of this balcony, he'd be gone.
He's not the smartest light bulb. No, but he tries hard. He really does.
But people, this is what I don't get. Because people like, oh, you're the dogs look like their owners. They behave like their owners. People see us like, oh, Bo's like Julia and Rolo's like David. Is this because I have curly hair?
Yeah, but Rolo's so cute. You have to admit. Like I could do another one. We could get another one.
Julia?
3.
You could but you could do 4, then 5, then 6. You wanted a farm. Are we finishing this off?
Fuck, this is so hard.
You don't have to.
It's really.
I don't need you getting too frisky. You get frisky when you drink. We still got other things to get done today. No, I think that's a good natural transition to children. We'll touch on this briefly. But dogs aside, we've made the agreement. We're not going to have 1 kid.
We're gonna have 8. 8 children
We're going to have 8 children every year. We're going to need a lot of surrogates.
for 4 years.
32 kids. No, we've made the agreement. We're not going to have 1 kid, and we're not going to have 4 kids. It's going to be 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's because I was like, I want to have 2, because for me, it's me and a brother, and I think it'd be dope to have 2 sons. But then Julia, you're your brother and a sister, so there's 3 of y'all. So
and
you want 3.
I feel like I've had the.
This proves my point, though, that every human just wants to like recreate, like we just want to live our parents' lives.
But I know what it's like to have a sister, and I know what it's like to have a brother, and I can't imagine a world without either one of them. Like I can't imagine not having a sister when I'm a girl, and I can't imagine not having a brother as a girl. Like it's so I understand.
But
like,
if you have,
but I don't want 2 boys.
Why?
But what do you mean? I don't want to be okay. Hear me out. There is something wrong with, not wrong, that's bad to say. I think that women that have all boys are terrible mother-in-laws.
You talking about my mom?
No, but I'm talking about it in like a broad sense.
But is it your
I think that's because it's their babies, they're boys. They don't have that. Your mom always says it to me like, oh, David doesn't call me as much as you call your mom. It's because it's different between a mom and a daughter. And I don't think that she ever got that. And so I think that most
you want to have a daughter so you have someone to talk to as you grow up?
But it's not to have that connection with. It's very different than when you have a connection with a boy. And I think boy moms miss out on that.
Well, boy parents aren't going to stay in as much contact with their family as girls on average. But I'd still take 2 boys.
No, I want.
Look, as long as I have 1 boy, and I've accepted deep down if I have no boys. I've accepted. It's not a reality I want to have.
You don't want to be The Rock? The Rock has like what, 3 girls?
Yeah, then also Uncle Jimmy, my uncle, great
He's
guy.
6, right?
Love him. All girls.
6
all
girls. But then
he's happy. He's also one of the happiest guys I know.
True, but all his daughters right now are having only boys.
He's got a lot of grandsons.
Yeah.
But I think especially like, you know me, and I've made it like my life purpose to like
Help men.
give back to the men, to the next generation
Well, you're
of
gonna
men.
be giving back to all the women.
Right? Like I've made all these mistakes in my life. I've tried all these things. Like, hey, I want men to be better, right? I want men to have better lives.
Of course.
Because I know that as I've improved my life, it's become a lot more fulfilling and happy. And being able to give that to a son would be a very special thing.
Oh, I feel the same way about having a daughter. So.
It's not the same though.
Yes, it is. The mother and daughter.
Yeah, but no, but you haven't
That's
like
exactly what I was just talking about. That your mom never got to experience.
What if you don't give me any boys?
Get a new side hoe.
Side hoe. She better be fertile. She better have
a fertile. What if she gives you all girls though? Then you're fucking stuck.
Then those are like the bastard children, right? It's like Game of Thrones. It's Game of Thrones.
But John was a man, and he ended up being amazing. So.
Yeah, but if I go with the side hoe to get men, and then I get more women.
I know, but then you're cursed. Then you shouldn't have went with the side hoe.
You know, even if we get all women, I'm gonna be happy, and I'm gonna make it work. I'm putting good vibes out.
Just in case.
Good vibes out to the environment and to Jesus and to God. So everyone's got the good vibes. So hopefully the good vibes return to me.
Yeah.
So about 4 or 5 years out till we have kids, yeah?
Yeah, like 8 or 9, actually.
8 or 9 years out?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm hitting the 3-0 soon, which is so scary to think about that I'm no longer going to be in my 20s.
Well, and that's the reason that we'll probably have our first child within the next year or so. Because if we want to have 2 for sure, and we want you to be done having children by the time you're 35, more or less.
34 is what I want.
Yeah, but by the time you're 35, right? Because after that, it becomes more.
See what he did there, guys?
Well, it becomes more statistically significant after that. Birth issues. This is the path that must be taken,
Yes.
or I get a younger one.
Yeah, or you turn me in for something better.
No, I got a pretty good one.
Yeah,
I'm happy with this model.
for now.
For now. All right, I'm gonna give you a few random words. I want you to word association. The first word that comes to mind. You don't have to spit it out, but just one word, please. Because everyone, I feel like Brandon Carr gave me like a dissertation when I gave him the 3rd or 4th word. All right.
Okay.
Boston.
Ugly. Sorry.
We get a lot of people watching Boston.
Look,
still.
it's not that I don't like Boston. I just think it's an ugly city.
Feminism.
Rogue.
It's gone rogue.
Yeah.
It's lost the mission.
Yeah.
Well, the mission was accomplished.
I know. Well, you can still have it, but you just.
But the mission was accomplished.
Now they're going like.
But
I don't even know what they're doing now.
rogue.
It's rogue.
Okay. Marbella.
Home.
Already.
Mm-hmm.
Already feeling at home here.
Yes, this is the place. I know David's like maybe Miami or maybe anywhere he travels that he likes. He's like, oh, let me show you some houses here.
Talk about me?
Yeah. Like, no, we're staying put. We're going to see this house through. We're going to move into it.
All right. Next word. Building a house.
Hectic. I feel like all we do is build houses.
Well, this is house 4. Wait. All right.
No.
Houston 1. Then there was Austin was 2. Then 3 is the one we're finishing in Austin. So this is 4. Yeah, it's 4. It's 4. Which is too much.
With all in like the
It's too much
2-3
for you
year
being
span?
for you being 29 and me being 33. That's too many houses.
Yeah.
It's too many houses.
Crazy. And we only lived in the Houston house 6 months. But we watched that be built for 6 months.
Toxic masculinity.
Who says?
Who says what's toxic?
Yeah, like who says it's toxic? Like, oh, like is this like
feminists.
those people? You know, like those people on the internet or those people. Like it's like that. Who are these people that are saying it? And then when you ask them, what is it? What is toxic masculinity? What is it? They don't know. It's just a word they throw out.
Okay. Donald Trump.
Divided.
You feel divided.
No.
He's divided.
People feel divided.
People feel divided.
Yeah, I feel like he breeds a lot of hate, and I don't like that. I think hate breeds hate. I think he's done some good things. I'll give him credit where it's due, but I think he's brought a lot of hate to the country. Not maybe meaning to. I don't know. I mean, he talks a lot of bad game, and yeah, I think he's hurt a lot of people. So Divided.
We don't have to debate on that. We don't have to debate on that. I have different thoughts,
Of course.
but I forgot the last word. I'm doing these off the dome today.
Okay.
Oh no, it was a good one.
Wasn't that good?
Ready? I'll flip it out for something different. 2030. 7 years from now.
Happy. I mean, I would like to think in 7 years from now we have some children, 2 to 3. We don't know. Maybe 3 to 4 dogs. We don't know. Living our best life, traveling the world, and just being happy.
I hope so. Well, Julia de los Morenas,
Still so weird.
good to have you on the pod for the first time. I'm sure there'll be more, but I want to space them out.
I hope that you guys really enjoyed this.
I'm curious to see the views in the comments on this one.
Yeah, so make sure. Oh, it's kind of at the end. So if you made it all the way through here, thank you guys. You're awesome. But yeah, no, I really appreciate it.
It's been a fucking journey together.
It has. It's been amazing.
It's been a journey the last 7 years.
And I feel like it's all been documented. Like everyone got
our kids
to
are
see
going to be able, I don't know if our kids are going to want to watch it.
No, that's way too much.
We're going to sit them down for every once in a while and show them some of the vlogs, though.
I think it's worth it.
Well, if they're boys, they're going to see some of the advice videos, too, when it's the right age.
Do you think it will still be relevant?
Yes. Maybe not like things like online dating change, but like the core fundamentals of masculinity, that'll still be the same.
Yeah. That could be a whole podcast in itself.
Yeah. Maybe the next one. So let us know what you guys thought about this one. Julie, I'm going to drop your YouTube, because you do have a YouTube where you give dating advice for men.
I do.
Your Instagram below.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say to the people?
Nothing. Just love you guys. Love Beast Nation and everyone that has been joining in on the pods. It's been really fun, and we appreciate you.
All right. Julie's been helping out a lot behind the scenes with the pods as well. At least the one, not in Miami. Miami, I was going solo, but in Marbella, she helps out. Move these out of the way because we got to end also. We got to end with a good dap.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
You guys, also, never dap girls up on dates. Give them a good hug. This is just a joke, all right? Just so no one thinks this is the right way to do things. Nice slap, strong grip.
Woo!
But here's, I'll notice a lot of the European guys ready to do this. They hit, then they go here. The European dap is like it's like a slap, then a handshake.
How do you know which one to go for?
The problem is, ready? This is a mistake. So if you go for the European one and I go for the American one, no. So you have to go for that. You go for that.
Yeah, I was going for that.
Yeah. No, first you got to get that slap right. See, then I end up getting a lot of these awkward ones.
It's off.
I've been getting a lot of awkward ones here.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to that clean American one, the European one. Anyway, bye.